Cabinet endorsed the waiver of interest and penalties on outstanding land settlement loans.
The Cabinet aims to curb inconsistencies in the pricing of infrastructure projects by establishing a reform framework overseen by the Head of Public Service through a multi-agency technical working team. The Cabinet notes that despite significant infrastructure investments, the country continues to experience cost variability and inconsistencies, challenges attributed to reliance on precedent-based estimates and limited market intelligence. The reforms are expected to reduce the cost of infrastructure by 25%. Further, the Cabinet endorsed the waiver of interest and penalties on outstanding land settlement loans to ease the financial burden on low-income settlers. The waiver will benefit settlers in 520 settlement schemes in 26 counties, covering an accumulated portfolio of 12.3 billion shillings. The Cabinet also gave the green light to the dualling of the 23.5 kilometers Muthaiga-Kiambu-Ndumberi road to ease congestion and improve mobility between Nairobi and Kiambu counties. On the diplomatic front, Kenya is set to establish embassies at the Vatican City in Italy, Copenhagen, Denmark, and Hanoi, Vietnam.
Sorry about that. Now, the opposition has vowed to remain united ahead of the 2027 general poll and the November 27th by-elections.
The leaders, who including Rigathi Gachagua of DCP, Kalonzo Musyoka of Wiper Patriotic Front and Eugene Wamalwa of DAP Kenya, said they will identify and announce a candidate who will fly the opposition's flag in the presidential contest.
Now, they spoke during the burial ceremony of the late politician J.M. Kariuki's widow, Terry Kariuki, in Nakuru County.
Here is that report.
By Give Us One Minor.
Leaders and residents of Nakuru County congregated at the home of the late veteran politician J.M. Kariuki in Nakuru County to pay their last respects at the burial of his widow Terry Kariuki. The mourners eulogizing the late as the pillar behind the political achievements of his spouse J.M. Kariuki, who was assassinated in 1975.
Mama, ukifika huko peana salamu zetu kwa J.M. Kariuki. And tell J.M. Kariuki he will never be forgotten by this great country.
The opposition figures, led by Wiper's Kalonzo Musyoka and DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua, using the platform to vow to stand in solidarity as the country gears for elections in 2027.
Tulianza safari na Kalonzo 2 years ago. Mwaka huu ukianza tukaungana na Rigiji. Na tunataka tuhakikishie watu wa mlima huu, watu wa Nyandarua, vile umetuona hapa tukiwa watatu na tuko timu kubwa ya one term. Sisi hatutawachana.
They promised to unveil the opposition flag bearer in due time.
Kenya hii haitaenda chini, Kenya itainuka. Kenya itainuka, na kwa hivyo musiwe na hofu yoyote, vijana Gen Z.
The leaders also slamming the government for perceived laxity in fighting corruption.
Huyu J.M. Kariuki, bana ya huyu mama, alikuwa nakatazwa kwenda kufanya kampeni. Lakini sisi kama J.M. hatuwezi nunua uoga hata kama tuko na pesa ya kununua. Si ndio? Na tunataka kusema ya kwamba we must fight for the liberation of our country and the economic empowerment of our people.
In Siaya, Odim lawmakers drawn from the county trained their guns on Governor James Orengo, telling him to first address corruption at the county before focusing on politics.
We cannot have our 300 people. Money was taken from poor people. They were not given the jobs. And you are everywhere telling us how you know that. Which truth do you know when you cannot fire one of your staff who are seated there, or unless you also ate the money?
We have a problem in Siaya. Nobody talks about it. But let me say, you cannot employ nurses and sack them. Let me talk for those nurses. Let's find out how to resolve the issue of nurses.
As the November 27th by-elections near, a section of elders from Malava, Kakamega County, distanced themselves from the group opposing the election of DAP Kenya candidate Seth Panyako.
Ninyi mkienda kwa Ndagwa, nendeni tu na malengo yenu. Wacha kuenda na lengo la watobo. Saa hizi
Give Us Minor, Prime Edition.
Tonight, the drought diaries continues with at least 2 million people now at risk as hunger drought tightens its grip on the country's arid and semi-arid regions. In Marsabit, Samburu and Isiolo counties, many families are going for days without food, surviving on a little more than hope and a half glass of camel milk. The most affected are children under 5 years, pregnant women, the elderly, and people with disabilities. Tonight, in Drought Diaries, Ben Chumba reports from Marsabit County, where the crisis could cost lives if urgent intervention is not taken.
In the heart of Marsabit County, hunger has a face. The face of mothers who have run out of options.
Poverty and not culture.
Each day begins with the same question: what will the children eat?
Hawana mifugo yote imeisha. Hakuna chakula nyumbani. Hata leo asubuhi bado hawajakunywa chai.
Teso Guyo is a young mother of 3. Her husband left months ago with the animals in search of pasture and never returned. Inside her small hut, there is no food. Her baby cries, too young to understand hunger, but old enough to feel it.
Kama na pesa anataka kwa sababu anaweza kununua maziwa kwa mtoto, chakula ile mzuri kwa mtoto, hata hii kama ni pengine cash transfer, hata anahitaji, hata ni chakula kama ile last time Red Cross ilipewa imekuwa imesaidia hawa.
Her situation is no different from that of Ripayon Leole. It is almost dark in the evening and she has nothing to prepare for her family. Many women in drought-stricken areas endure the same struggle, doing everything they can to keep their children alive.
Watu wameumia, wamama kwanza wameumia na watoto pia, wazee wengine disable, wale hawajiwezi, hawapati usaidizi yoyote.
Watoto ambaye ni under 5 wako wamelemewa sana kwa ajili ya chakula.
In El Sakumala village in North Hor, there is a rare moment of joy. A woman has given birth to a baby boy and neighbors have slaughtered 3 goats to celebrate. But even amid celebration, the uncertainty of tomorrow lingers.
Kuna wengine wamelala kwa siku 2-3 njaa. Hakuna mali wanapata chakula.
Wazee zaidi ya miaka 70. Wengi asubuhi hakuna kitu wanakula. Hakuna chakula wanapata. Kuna wachache ambaye inasaidiwa na serikali ambaye wanapata ile pesa ya old age shilingi 2,000 kwa mwezi. Na hiyo shilingi 2,000 baada ya siku 2 hakuna, imeisha.
The wells here still hold water, but it is too salty to grow even vegetables. So nothing grows, and with nothing to harvest, there is nothing to eat.
Unaona hiyo hali inachangia malnutrition. So unakuta mostly hapa unapata watu at least huwezi kosa hiyo cases of malnutrition.
Last year ilikuwa hivyo tu. Nikosa kilo anarudi kwa hii kitu ya kukula plan. Anaendelea kukula baadaye anatoka, baadaye anarudi. Baadaye anapata kilo kukula.
When one of them walks to the market, word spreads quickly.
Wewe ukikuja kutoka tawani, watu 5-6 wanavitia kwako. Kuja kugawanya ile kitu umeleta kutoka tawani.
Wakati ile ya shule, watoto wanaenda shule. Wakati ya likizo kama sasa, kupata chakula pia ni ngumu. Watoto wote wako nyumbani, hakuna chakula. Mbeleni serikali inatupatia chakula kidogo ya relief. Lakini siku hizi hata hakuna hiyo.
1 out of 4 children here is malnourished. And some of them were born to parents who are still children themselves. And this is how hunger becomes generational and not seasonal. At the North Hor Mission Health Center, children are being monitored for malnutrition, but nutrition supplements are running out.
Currently, we are not having any, apart from RUTF, that is for severe cases, that is some. But for mom cases and pregnant and lactating women who are malnourished, we are lacking support currently.
The drought has also worsened disease outbreaks. Cholera, malaria and Rift Valley fever now thrive where hunger has weakened immunity.
Kata chakula nataka. Kata pesa ukipata. Nataka kila kitu. Unasaidia yeye.
For now, all they can do is to wait for the skies to open or for the help to come to their rescue. Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
For our first break at exactly 11 minutes past the top of the hour. Coming up.
Missing Kenyans in Russia. We have details on that with the clarity you deserve. Stay with us.
Hata kani kuchapa, how do you kuchapa ni kuchoma mtoto?
Between me and your mother, ni nani mkali?
Ninyi wote.
Unaona generation vile inakaa?
Si generation, anauliza swali kulingana na vile nyinyi.
Ndio maana huwa nakapiga.
Oh.
Unabai, unapika, unashiba, Lea Premium.
Lea Premium Flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
Welcome back to Prime Edition.
Our socials
yes.
At KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube.
Our first story in the second part of the bulletin, the government is coming under pressure to shed more light on allegations that some Kenyans may have been shipped abroad to fight in the ongoing war in Ukraine.
5 families whose loved ones are currently trapped in the conflict are telling KBC that they believe that the state was in fact aware that their kin were recruited and flown to Russia to fight alongside Russian soldiers.
Now, some of the families now claim that their sons are stuck abroad, unable to find their way home. Joseph Wahungu reports.
Gordon Amondi is desperate for answers. He has been camping at the Department of Diaspora Affairs office in Nairobi, wanting to know the fate of a relative stuck in parts unknown. He says the man was duped into joining the war in Ukraine.
Kitoka Kenya, kidogo alijua Kenya anaenda kufanya. Because that guy had told them, he had elaborated what is there. Aliwaambia, kitu ya kwanza, kuna vita Russia. But now, wao wa Kenya wakienda huko, hawako wanaenda vita.
Similarly, families of Moses Oduk, Elijah Kimani, Samuel Kariuki and Noah Suyanka say their kin have been making desperate phone calls pleading for help to return home.
Wakati tuliongea na yeye, alikuwa ndani huko Ukraine. Ndio alikuwa anafanya kazi. Walikuwa nalala mahali imechimbwa ile ya chini, bunkers. Ndio walichimba wakajenga huko chini ya ardhi. Sasa hata tuliongea na yeye kama analea. Anataka rudi. Vile anarudi, ameshindwa vile atarudi.
For some, communication has since gone silent, with relatives saying they have not heard from their kin for months.
Wasiwasi wangu ni venye tumesikia huko venye vita inaendelea, kasi yenye alikuwa ameambiwa anaenda sio anafanya. hatumpati na simu kama kwa mwezi.
The families accused the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of doing little to trace or rescue their loved ones, despite repeated visits to the government offices.
Communication yake iliisha, hatuyopatani na yeye, lakini aliniambia amepelekwa kwa upande wa vita kule ambako alikuwa ananiambia ni tumuombe kwa sababu sio kuzuri. Sasa ombi langu ni kwamba serikali tusaidie hawa watu warudishwe Kenya.
They also claim one of the agents who facilitated the travel was briefly arrested in Athi River and later released on bond and is allegedly still recruiting unsuspecting Kenyans. The families are now appealing directly to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs to act urgently to help bring their kin home before it is too late.
Sasa mimi mwenyewe hata huyo ndio mtoto mmoja niko naye na ndio nilikuwa namtegemea kwa kila kitu. Yeye ndio huwa ananishughulikia.
Joseph Wahungu for Prime Edition.
To other developments tonight, opinion is divided on two constitutional amendment bills of 2025 before the National Assembly and Senate, seeking to attain the no more than 2/3 gender principle.
Now, the two bills seek to, among other issues, give effect to the 2/3 gender rule through the creation of special seats that will ensure the gender principle is realized in Parliament.
The number of special seats is to be determined after the general election.
Nancy Okware reports.
15 years since Kenya attained the new constitution, attainment of the 2/3 gender principle remains elusive. Bottlenecks such as retrogressive cultural beliefs and violence directed at women in political spaces continue to hinder these efforts.
There's still discrimination on women, particularly violence against women, which hinders them in offering themselves for position of leadership. And this discussion on the laws to address how to achieve 2/3 gender rule will help us to address the issue of violence against women, youth and people with disability.
Two constitutional amendment bills 2025 before the Senate and National Assembly are, however, seeking to address these bottlenecks. They seek to ensure that in the event membership of both houses does not conform to the principle, there shall be nominated additional number of special seat members to ensure not more than 2/3 are of the same gender.
We wait for the dates when the election is done and we see how many women we got as members of parliament. If the numbers do not meet the threshold in the constitution of the 2/3 gender principle, we then bring in the number of women that will be required to top up and give us the 2/3 gender principle.
My fear is if you say if we don't meet the number, we will then just nominate top up. Then there'll be no incentive for women to go to elections. The public will say, okay, you wait for your top up. We will elect the men. I think we should change the law so that we reserve the 12 nominated slots exclusively to women.
It also seeks to amend the constitution to provide for additional seats to implement the principle of at least 5% of the members in appointive and elective bodies should be persons with disabilities.
Members of parliament, both in nomination and elective positions, to be actually those members who have lived disability for longer than us having people living disability for maybe a shorter period of 5 to 10 years because they don't understand the disability and the challenges that you go through.
The two houses, since they are our representatives, us at the grassroots level, to really like to be brought now the bills to us, understand it in the language that we can comprehend. For example, our national language is Swahili. If possible, the way we did it with the finance bill, looking at the Gen Zs, even break it down to the local languages.
Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
Now to the Senate. A section of senators have called out one of their own whom they accuse of supporting the torture of Kenyans in the neighboring countries of Uganda and Tanzania.
While debating a motion proposing the installation of CCTV cameras in all police stations, cells and police reporting desks, the senators led by Mboya of Kitui County said the remarks by their Nandi counterpart Samson Cherargei were unfortunate.
Coming at a time when reports indicate that almost 20 Kenyans died in police custody this year alone, Cherargei was allegedly quoted over the weekend encouraging the neighboring countries of Uganda and Tanzania to discipline Kenyans who are crossing the borders and involving themselves with the politics of those countries.
In his defense, Cherargei accused the senators of discussing him without a substantive motion.
A member of his house, the Agas house, has called upon presidents of neighboring countries to oppress the people that we are supposed to be representing in this house. What is the speaker supposed to deal? How is the speaker supposed to deal with that member of the house?
It shocked me to levels that I cannot even imagine, that a member of this house and a lawyer, for that matter, somebody who claims to be a legal mind, would forget these fundamental provisions of the Constitution and support a situation where Kenyans are being subjected to abduction, subjected to torture, subjected to cruel and dehumanizing punishment.
Standing Order 101, Part 4, no senator shall impute improper motive to any other senator or to a member of the National Assembly except upon a specific substantive motion.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, is investigating 32 cases linked to money laundering.
Speaking on the sidelines of a regional workshop on money laundering and recovery of stolen assets, EACC Chief Executive Officer Abdi Mohammed says that they target individuals who are laundering public funds and wiring them to other countries.
According to the National Taxpayers Association, Kenya loses 253 billion shillings every year to illicit financial flows.
Abdiaziz Hashim reports.
Companies and individuals who are currently laundering billions of public funds and hiding them in other countries are now on the radar of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC.
We have over 32 cases that we received from the FRC, the Financial Reporting Center here in Nairobi, and where they have flagged certain individuals and agencies and companies for money laundering.
Speaking on the sidelines of the regional workshop addressing money laundering and recovery of stolen assets, the EACC CEO said they have begun talks with several countries on mutual litigation to ensure the funds are recovered, in turn remove Kenya from the grey list.
There is all the possibilities that some of the monies that is stolen from one country can end up in another country. We've had our Tanzanian counterparts once in a while coming to us. We've been going to our Ugandan counterparts. Some South Sudan colleagues have also been following a few cases of theirs. So by bringing these people together, we first of all want to create what is called informal networks.
According to the National Taxpayers Association Kenya and Oxfam, Kenya loses between 243 and 253 billion shillings every year to illicit financial flows.
Differences in our legal regime and their legal regime makes it so difficult for us to be able to recover our assets as quickly as we would have thought.
We are still not doing very, very well in the area of asset recovery, in the area of anti-corruption, in the area of money laundering, like you rightly said. But of course, Kenya has done so much better in the area of asset recovery as a region because they have this civil forfeiture, like Mr. Abdi was talking about, the asset recovery that they have just done with the previous governor.
In the same light, the continent loses $90 billion to money laundering, denying critical sectors of much-needed financial muscle to spur growth.
Consider, you asked the question, Africa loses around $90 billion every year as a continent in illicit financial flows. A country like Kenya that has, economically is one of the machines of the region, is one of the most important economical centers, loses quite a lot to illicit financial flows.
11 countries are currently participating in the 3-day conference. Abdiaziz Hashim for Prime Edition.
A new era has come to KBC Channel 1 TV on your favorite gospel show, The Backyard, with me, DJ Tabs, as we introduce to you our new host, the one and only award-winning gospel artist, pioneer, Mr. Big Deal, Mr. General, the one and only
Yes, man, I go by the name Hope Kid the General, Mr. Big Deal, new school dancehall pioneer, and I'm humbled to be your amazing host from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. each and every Saturday with DJ Tabs, the head girl, and we'll be having amazing conversation with some of the leading guest line here on this show.
Join us
each and every Saturday.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Correctional facilities item, Tom.
That's right. Correctional facilities across the country are set to receive solar power panels to help improve power supply and also general efficiency in the facilities.
This was revealed as the European Union Ambassador Henriette Gaynor launched a 10 kVA solar project at Kisumu Maximum Prison, popularly known as Kodiaga Prison.
That's right. Achola Simon reports.
The power supply in Kenya prisons is set to improve as the government, in collaboration with the European Union, roll out a clean energy project that seeks to increase efficiency along the justice chain and normal operations.
We have invested as part of this program heavily into digitizing the entire justice chain, but also in greening the justice chain. And of course, corrections is part of the justice chain.
We are now going to expand this project to also include the water treatment plant for the institution, so that we ensure that not only do we get water throughout without any interruption, and therefore improve the hygiene, improve the facility, continue the programs we have been doing in terms of landscaping and increasing the space and the hygiene of the place. But also we are going to ensure that the water that is used is clean and is powered by clean renewable energy.
During the launch of the 10 kilovolt ampere solar project at Kisumu Maximum Prison, Correctional Services Principal Secretary Dr. Salome Biko said the project will see operations cost cut by 70% while increasing efficiency in dispensation of justice.
With 100% savings, or 70 to 100% saving in electricity cost, it means also that this project that is also going to run the water project, is going to run the industry, is going to run the virtual courts, will see to it that we also save on fuel.
Which is an example of how we can implement these international standards to improve prison conditions and to improve the conditions also for prison staff. Because working in the prison system is not an easy job.
Dr. Biko also said the affordable power will also increase production in the industrial and other production sections in prisons. Other correctional facilities across the country will also benefit from the project. Achola Simon, Prime Edition, Kisumu County.
Into the corridors of justice now, the High Court has overturned a Gazette notice and subsequent advertisements declaring vacancies in the National Land Commission in August 2025, affirming the constitutional rights of existing commissioners.
Giving his verdict on Tuesday, Justice Chacha Mwita found the actions taken by the government posed a real threat to the Constitution and the law and needed judicial intervention.
Details of this and other stories in the Scales of Justice segment.
The case arose from petition filed by NLC Commissioners Tia Galgalo and Esther Murungi Madenge, who challenged Gazette Notice number 1121 dated August 11, 2025, which was published in the Kenya Gazette on August 15th, declaring impending vacancies in the positions of the chairperson and commissioners at the NLC. The notice was followed by advertisements in leading newspapers listing shortlisted candidates for the upcoming recruitment as the National Land Commission members. Justice Chacha Mwita observed the notice and subsequent steps by the selection panel, while appearing procedure threatened to infringe on the legal tenure of sitting commissioners. Elsewhere, it is a relief for former Samburu Governor Moses Lenon Kulal after being freed in an 83 million corruption case. He had been accused of using his position as a governor to influence the award of fuel supply contracts to Oryx Service Station, a company allegedly linked to him. Justice Benjamin Musyoki found that at the time of the transactions, Oryx was under a lease agreement between businessman Hesbon Ndadi and Leno Kulal, with the former paying rent of 70,000 shillings a month. Also freed, a businessman Hesbon Ndadi who was accused of acting as Leno Kulal's proxy, and former Samburu County Chief Officer Benal de Surmat, who was said to have facilitated payments to the company. The Anti-Corruption Court on 29th August last year had sentenced Leno Kulal to 8 years in prison or a fine of 84.5 million shillings after finding him guilty of benefiting from county contracts through the fuel farm. Meanwhile, the family of missing security analyst Mwenda Mbijiwe will have to wait until next week, when the High Court will give direction to produce him dead or alive. During the mention of the case on Tuesday, the family lawyer Ivan Sondieki described the case as a circus that has dragged on for 4 years.
Your Lordship, in the absence of the compliance with the court, I pray that you issue warrants, because you issued summons. You issue warrants, let them be arrested, let them be brought to court under warrant. That's when they will know that the rule of law is the rule of law, and none of us is above the law.
The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution affirmed it was duty-bound to ensure accountability and transparency in handling such sensitive matters, assuring the file will be reviewed expeditiously. Mbijiwe, a former Kenya Defence Forces officer and prominent security analyst, disappeared in June 2021 while traveling from Nairobi to Meru.
To the respondents is that they must comply with court orders, and the court orders are never issued in vain. So we want the court to issue warrants if they don't produce the subject matter on 19th.
Finally, the land fraud case Republic versus Rufus Kihara continued at the Rumuruti Law Courts, with one witness Wambugu Maina testifying on behalf of the complainant, Christine Wangari. Rufus Kihara, government officer and former assistant county commissioner, faces 4 criminal counts related to alleged fraudulent land transactions in the Olmoran area of Laikipia County.
The court should tell us, and we've been availing witnesses, and we have been expending time and resources to avail them, and for one reason or another, the matter has not been proceeded.
According to the prosecution, the document was unlawfully created on 20th September 2022 and later presented at the Rumuruti Land Registry on 23rd January 2023.
Let's do 2 witnesses. Then we can, we can have the next hearing on. We can have the 16th of December.
The remaining witnesses are scheduled to appear in court on 16 December this year. Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition.
You applied to go to Africa because of the fuss you caused a while back. You lost face here at the hospital. You're running away.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
You are lying. You want to go to Africa again?
I don't, Maja. Do you think I did this on purpose? That I'm just here to stalk you?
Do you think Zhang Da can't survive without you? Did you forget I'm still here doing all the work?
You know that's not what I mean.
Thank you for staying with us. Time for us to get into business news. President William Ruto has called on East African community member states to harmonize trade policies and accelerate digital and transformation to empower micro, small and medium enterprises as engines of inclusive regional growth. Here is Regina Manyara with the details.
Locally available materials.
Now in its 25th year, the East African community has a market of over 300 million people and a combined gross domestic product exceeding $320 billion.
Process of resolution of non-tariff barriers has reduced by 50%. While they still exist, but the mechanisms in place are supporting us to reduce non-tariff barriers.
While intra-EAC trade accounts for about 15% of total trade volume, micro, small and medium enterprises are responsible for the bulk of cross-border business, which member states are keen on doubling.
Delegates highlighted best practices and actionable solutions to improve MSMEs' access to affordable financing, including through partnerships.
President Ruto says micro, small and medium enterprises must be supported through digital innovation, green financing and supportive policies to grow their markets and increase lasting wealth.
So that more and more enterprises can have access to credit and to tools that they can use to enhance the value of the products that they are producing.
Harmonization of trade standards, financial regulations and policy frameworks to enhance cross-border business.
We want to also create opportunities, because part of growing the MSMEs is what I said: access to credit, targeted grants, and we are also supporting them to do business.
The International Trade Center's regional hub in Nairobi will be a shared East African establishment connecting local producers to global markets and investment opportunities. Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Brookside Dairy is betting on expanding partnerships with educational institutions to boost uptake of dairy products. Brookside's Director of Marketing, Reza Chabokro, says uptake of dairy products in learners is key in improving nutritional levels for better retention rates in schools as well as academic outcomes.
Educational institutions are a key market for dairy processors, buying milk for making tea taken daily by millions of learners across Kenya. Brookside Dairy is at the Kenya Primary School Head Teachers Association Conference at Sheikh Zayed Children's Center in Mombasa County, being attended by over 15,000 school heads. The dairy processor is seeking partnership with school heads to grow the uptake of dairy products.
We believe and we aim that by seeing the experience of this year, 15,000 people here, so it's a big opportunity that we need to actually to maximize.
The processor is banking on schools and other institutional buyers as key drivers in growing its market share by leveraging the large networks they have across the country.
We are here to gain the trust of the niche market of these teachers, but this niche market, we believe, throughout the word of mouth to their families and to the children.
Chabokro is rooting for increased uptake of dairy products, especially among learners, for nutritional benefits that could directly be reflected in academic performance. Sylvia Gatti for Prime Edition.
Let's now move to Sacco concerns. In a report compiled by Benson Rioba, Cooperatives Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya says a committee of experts on Sacco's reforms has proposed amendments to the Sacco Act to ease mergers in a bid to bring more Saccos under regulation in efforts to protect members' deposits.
A number of savings and credit cooperative societies with a few members and a small asset base might be forced to merge if amendments proposed by the Committee of Experts on Sacco reforms are adopted. Cooperatives Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya is rooting for the mergers, arguing that it will ensure more Saccos are brought under the regulation of the Saccos and Society Regulatory Authority (SASRA), and they create a bigger asset base to service members' needs.
If all Mwalimu Saccos was one, because what happened, Mwalimu Sacco was one, and then now districts, when districts came up, each district now split to have its own Sacco. You go to Kisumu, you'll find the Siaya Sacco, they have their name, Walimu Huko, and Jinalao.
Oparanya says smaller Saccos are not economically viable due to their high operational costs.
The problem we have had in Kenya is that every village comes up with a Sacco, which is not even financially viable.
To help our cooperatives pool resources together and put them in banks that will give us good interest rates. Now,
in a raft of reforms, agriculture-based Saccos are set for stricter regulations to enhance efficiency.
Agricultural sector is the big one, and that has been the major problem, because the agricultural sector issues of governance is a very big challenge, and I'm happy that this is being addressed in the new bill that is before the Parliament.
Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
SBM Bank Kenya has bounced back to profitability, posting 412 million shillings in net profit during the first 9 months of this year, up from a net loss of 1.3 billion shillings reported during a similar period last year. The profit was mainly driven by net interest income that nearly doubled from 1.41 billion shillings to 2.76 billion shillings.
SBM Bank Kenya increasing the stock of loans and advances to customers from 44 billion shillings to 45.73 billion shillings. Despite the increase, interest income on loans and advances to customers reduced from 4.63 billion shillings to 4.4 billion shillings. Higher interest income from investment in government securities helped lift the total interest income to 8 billion shillings, up from 7.7 billion shillings earned during a similar period in 2024.
And this has largely been driven by a 65% increase in operating income, which grew from 2.6 billion last year to 4.3 billion this year. So it's quite so we can say that our turnaround is actually taking shape now.
On the other hand, total operating expenses reduced 3.5% in what the lender attributes to prudent cost management and enhanced operational efficiency.
So we've had equal contributions from all of our segments and products. And this is driven by a much more stable system, a lot more innovation going on as well. So be it consumer, corporate, business banking, all of them have contributed to these results.
Gross non-performing loans and advances increased to 16.7 billion shillings, up from 14.4 billion shillings a year ago.
We've also launched the fractional trading on Eurobonds. Now, Eurobonds are normally traded in the international markets in lot sizes of $200,000. But with SBM, you can get into that market, if that's appropriate for you, for as low as $5,000.
Total assets increased from 97.5 billion shillings to 104.0 billion shillings, while customer deposit rose 20% to 75.2 billion shillings.
Thousands of acres of rangeland have been identified for fodder production to address animal feed shortage. According to John Maina, who is in charge of livestock production in the Ministry of Agriculture, says the target is to produce forage to feed 30 million livestock.
To address the 50% animal feed deficit in Kenya, the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock has identified rangeland for fodder production. The identified land has potential to produce up to 80 million metric tons of forage, an increase from the current 15 million tons.
So when you talk about 40 million hectares, if you give a modest estimate of production of about 200 bales of hay, and hay I mean grass and browse, so we can produce up to 60, 70, 80 million metric tons of forage that is useful for livestock.
The government is also exploring increasing cotton and sunflower production as a strategy of reducing animal feed costs.
We are going to do the issue of oil crops production. The oil crops production, cotton, sunflower, they were all targeted to touch on the reduction of cost of feeds so that we don't import most of the materials.
He was speaking in Naivasha during a regional workshop on strengthening animal feed and rangeland security in pastoral regions in the Horn of Africa region.
Wewe ni mpenda soka? Na je, wajua kuwa KBC mwendio wako wa dhati michezoni anakujali? Ndio maana KBC Channel 1 hukuletea taarifa na uchambuzi wa soka.
CAF ndio wamechukua usukani
humu nchini, barani Afrika na ugaibuni, ikiwemo EPL, Serie A, Bundesliga na ligi zingine. Mashabiki pia hutuzwa kwa kujibu maswali kuhusiana na soka.
Swali letu la leo.
Haya yote ni kwenye kipindi cha Dunda Dunda kwenye KBC Channel 1 kila Ijumaa kuanzia saa 5 asubuhi hadi saa 6:30 mchana.
Nawahimiza Wakenya waendelee watch Dunda Dunda show.
KBC, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Good evening, my name is Karen Kibet. Welcome back to KBC Prime Edition. Let's now talk sports. Now, the Kenya national soccer team, Harambee Stars, will depart the country tonight for Antalya, Turkey, where they are set to play 2 international friendly matches from Friday this week. The national under-17 football team, on the other hand, will be in Ethiopia for the Sacco under-17 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier this weekend.
Harambee Stars will face Equatorial Guinea on Friday at the Maya Complex before meeting Senegal on November 18 at the Madan Stadium. Head coach Benny McCarthy says the team, which has been training at Kasarani, is in high spirits and fully focused on securing positive results in the international friendlies, which will prepare them for competitive assignments. The matches will also test their strength against top-ranked opponent, sharpen their tactics and strengthen chemistry within the team. Meanwhile, the national under-17 soccer team, the Junior Stars, will also be away on international duty this weekend. They left today for Ethiopia, where they are scheduled to take part in the Sacco under-17 African Cup of Nations qualifiers starting this Saturday up to the 2nd of December. Forward Nathan Achola, who earned a spot in the head coach William Muluya's final lineup, said he's ready to give his best and help the team secure qualification for the continental tournament. Junior Stars have been placed in Group B alongside Ethiopia, Somalia, Sudan and Rwanda.
It was a lot of work that was put in. Of course, we had like a week or so of training and 2 test matches. So it's just a lot of work, a lot of dedication. And making the final squad, I was so happy because it's a dream for every 17-year-old to represent their country.
We have to believe in ourselves first. And try to play until the last day of the tournament. It will be an honor for us to make it to the AFCON. So whoever we are having and whichever team we have, it's upon the coaches now to try and push it more. And we are confident enough that we are going to do the job.
They will be battling for one of the 2 qualification spots available for the 2026 Under-17 African Cup of Nations.
Moving on, ZTech University's chances of advancing to the Women's Basketball Africa League have taken a major hit after suffering a 2nd straight defeat at the ongoing regional qualifiers at the Nyayo National Stadium. Now, the Kenyan side was outclassed 86. The Moi International Sports Center Kasarani will play host to the World Taekwondo Under-21 Championships from the 3rd to 6th of next month, with over 100 athletes from 65 nations expected to compete. The global event marks a major milestone for Kenya as it positions itself as a hub for international martial arts competition.
According to Kenya Taekwondo Federation President Suleiman Sumba, the tournament will not only focus on supporting excellence, but will also promote environmental sustainability.
Kenya is ready to host this World Championship. We had the World Taekwondo inspectors over the weekend. They came in Kenya, they did a thorough inspection, and they gave us a thumbs up to organize this event.
Organizers plan to plant over 15,000 trees by the end of the championship as part of their efforts to champion eco-friendly sport initiatives. Team Kenya, comprising of 16 athletes, is set to depart for Cote d'Ivoire for a 2-week build-up camp ahead of the event. Sumba also called on sponsors to support the national team's preparation, emphasizing the need to adequate resources to ensure a strong performance at home. The Kenyan continent will be seeking to build on their recent success in Kampala, Uganda, where they dominated the Korea Taekwondo Championship. The men's team bagged 5 gold medals, while the women clinched 6 gold medals, 2 silver and 1 bronze.
Me and my team, we are feeling very proud for letting the game in Kenya, World Under-21 Championship in Kenya. We are feeling very happy.
We just showed Kenya and the world in the concluded weekend games in Uganda. We are the best. Just look at these trophies. We are the best. And what do you expect from that? We expect medals, wins, and we are ready for the games in December.
The performance reaffirmed Kenyan growing stature in the sport. As anticipation built for the upcoming tournament, Kenya is gearing up not just to host the world, but to make a statement both on the mat and in its commitment to a greener sporting future.
Now, the Kenya national women's rugby team finalized their training today at the RFUEA grounds along Ngong Road, Nairobi, where they were joined by France-based player Grace Okulu ahead of the 2025 Africa Women's Sevens tournament, scheduled for this weekend at the same venue. Now, head coach Simon Odongo said tomorrow and will comprise emerging talent and experience who impressed in recent tournaments. The Kenya Lionesses are in Group B together with Ghana, who are expected on Thursday, and Cote d'Ivoire, who will arrive on Friday. The defending champion South Africa, who led Pool A, will arrive on Thursday, with Tunisia, Egypt, Burkina Faso, Mauritius and Madagascar. Zambia and Zimbabwe are scheduled to be the first teams to jet into the country tomorrow night.
As Lionesses, we always do, we don't underestimate any team. Every team is we play like a finals. So starting with our first game that will be here against Cote d'Ivoire, we're just going to play like Lionesses, no underestimating anyone, not taking any players for granted. We're just going to play everything that the coach has been working for us for a few months right now. We're just going to execute them.
The ladies are ready. We did our final session today, so tomorrow we have our rest day, and on Thursday, and which we expect all the African teams to have arrived by then. Then Friday we do our captain's run, then Saturday we roll and show the Kenyans what we can do.
Boxer Yavan Buyu is confident of making it 5 wins from 5 when he takes to the ring to fight Abdul Hakim in one of the 7 UFS boxing bouts set for the 29th of this month at the Edge Convention Center in Nairobi. The 6-round lightweight bout will be a non-title fight to raise mental health awareness among men.
Javan Buyu has been training in Nairobi preparing to take on Abdul Hakim for the second time in just over a year after the two made their debut against each other on the 25th of May 2024, Javan getting the better of his opponent that time round. 28-year-old Javan, the current Kenyan national lightweight champion, a title he won after beating Christopher Osicho in a 10-round bout on 10th October 2025, has won all his 4 fights since turning to boxing from mixed martial arts last year.
Kwa hiyo bout nimejifunza vitu mob, more so on defense, also power na how to press, na also how to work and coordinate with my corner and coaching.
The 6-round lightweight bout will be a non-title fight but will be carrying the message of mental health, especially to men, with November being the Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
He fight na raise awareness to men who are open up now, speak out. So he fight naenda ku fight Abdul Hakim, fight ya 6 rounds na naenda ku give a good show.
Among the other fights on the UFS BXNG card that night will be a 6-round super welterweight bout between Michael Odwora and Justus Ndegwa, a 4-round heavyweight bout between Ben Bottelbach of Belgium against Valentin Pondi of Kenya, and the super bantamweight fight between Kenyan Consolata Musanji and Sandra Atermo of Sweden.
And Barclays report marks the end of the sports news tonight, right here on KBC Prime Edition Sports News. My name is Karen Kibet, and I'm now joined by my senior colleagues Mboya and Muchuma Odim. Muchuma, kindly explain to our viewers why I have this beautiful ornament on. Muchuma?
Morocco Express, if you like, Karen Kibet. Tuesday we're having African-themed bulletin storm.
Yeah, she asked a question.
Yes, and that is why we are putting on different African attires on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And today it was the Ma culture.
Yeah.
And yes, last week we had the Ma Cultural Week.
Yeah.
We are doing the post-Ma Cultural Week. And it's one of the communities that are holding very tight to their traditions.
Yeah.
And what about other Tuesdays, Tom?
Actually, many years back, I remember seeing a big poster in King's Cross in London of a Maasai with a full attire.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Luya.
The Luya attire.
Traditional attire.
And we do the Kamapeka dance. What about the time we'll be going to the Marakwet culture, Kibet?
I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Because the Kalenjins, we are usually seen as a holistic tribe, yet each and every subgroup in the Kalenjin community is different and unique. So when the time for Marakwet comes, I'll definitely let you know our nitty-gritty details.
Okay. Including saying Awendiga when I'm going home. All right, we have to bring it to a close. You want to read one quick one?
Yes, thank you for your time and your feedback on our social media platforms. A quick one, especially on the story of drought. There is a very good item from Benson Chumba, who is pitching camp in the county of Marsabit. And by the way, day one, that's on Sunday, he did water scarcity in the region. And the day after that, he was covering conflict over pasture, which has actually caused lives in the region. And today he was specifically looking at hunger and disease, which is mainly affecting the vulnerable, the children, women who are expecting babies. And tomorrow we are looking into it, as he mentioned. He will be looking at how young girls are traded for survival.
Oh, wow. That's one to look forward to. Well, we want to thank you so much on behalf of Prime Edition team. My name is Mboya. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya.
I am Muchuma Odim. Our sign language expert tonight is Caroline Joroge. Good night. God bless you.
Bye-bye. Let me...
For charity, dial *419#.